listening to Heroes in the Moment. What's up, heroes? I'm Michael.
And I'm Nathan.
And today we're breaking down Madam Web trailer.
Yeah, which, well, let me preface it by saying, a while back, when we heard about the plot synopsis, Michael and I, as intellectuals, we were like, you know what? This movie may be indeed slept on.
Yeah,
I predict this will be a banger.
Sony's time.
Yeah, it's
and
Sony's
they
time.
need a good
They've
one.
made enough crappy movies.
They have. I mean, we had Venom, which was good. It was decent.
Yeah, it was decent.
Let There Be Carnage, not very good.
No.
Morbius, best movie of all time.
Obviously.
And then Craven, which is not promising at all.
Dude, Craven looks so bad.
And then we have Madam Web.
This comes out.
And we watched this trailer, and I remember you. I watched this. I saw it come online. I watched YouTube, and I was like, okay, this might be interesting.
Yeah.
I watched the trailer. It didn't even have a release date attached to it, which is interesting enough. Anyway,
they're seeing if people pay attention to it, and if they don't, they just don't release the movie.
They just don't release it. It's a possibility.
That's what it is.
And I watched the trailer, and then I got finished with the trailer, and I thought to myself, that's exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
And then as I watched it again, which I don't know why I did that to myself, I texted you immediately.
Yeah.
I sent you the trailer, and I was like, bro, this has got to be the single worst trailer I've ever seen in my entire life. And you responded with, actually, I'm going to pull it out.
Yeah,
I'm going to pull the Instagram DMs out,
pull out the
and we're going to
receipts.
read our conversation that we had about the Madam Web trailer.
I had just seen it too.
That I'm scrolling. Let's see. After all this news you sent me.
All the news I sent you.
I said the trailer, and I said, bro, this movie looks horrible. And you said, it looks terrible. I watched the trailer, and I couldn't believe how bad it looked. Like worse than Morbius bad. Bro, that was what I was thinking. I was like, this looks fan-made / 2004 Marvel. And that's where the conversation ended for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you sent me another clip, and you were like, I can't believe this movie is real. And I responded with, I'm devastatingly sad at how real this movie is.
Yeah.
Because the trailer was so bad.
Yeah.
And, I'll preface with, obviously, we can't judge a movie based off a trailer.
Yeah,
but I'm going to prejudge this movie before we even talk about the trailer, and I'm going to say it's going to be a 1 out of 10.
Yeah, early ranking's a 0.5.
It's a 1.5.
It's going to be the only movie in Here's in the Moment ranking history that gets a 1
it's
or
a
below.
1. Thor: Love and Thunder, I believe we gave like a 3.5.
Yeah,
this is going to be worse. This possibly looks like the worst superhero movie ever.
It looks terrible.
This looks so bad.
That's saying a lot. There's been some really cheesy, some bad flicks, especially in the early 2000s, like you were saying.
Right. This looks worse.
This is bad.
I think I'd rather watch Elektra, 4 or 5.
Hey, Jennifer Garner, man.
I love Jennifer Garner.
Yeah.
But that movie was horrible.
Yeah, it's gosh awful.
But this movie doesn't look any better.
No, not at all.
So without further ado, let's get into the trailer. And I gotta even say the music background. They use that music background for so many different trailers that have to do with this kind of movie. Mm-hmm. I think they did it for the original Suicide Squad. I think they did it for several others. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, this movie's gonna be bad because of that music.
Yep.
So let's get into this trailer. So it has the "What do you want from me?"
What do you want?
Yeah,
from me? I don't like that sound anyway.
No, I don't at all.
Stop overusing it, man.
And we get to Dakota Johnson walking to the restaurant. It's dark and eerie. Okay, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
I like Dakota Johnson.
See. I like Dakota Johnson. We got the 3 girls, Sydney Sweeney, a part of them.
Yeah.
As part of this, and then she's like, "Hey, come on!" And then we see this Spider-Man come in, and first I'm like, I'm taken back when it shows
like,
this. I'm like,
Spider-Man, what are you doing?
Spider-Man, what's he doing here?
Yeah.
And it's his black suit, red webbing or whatever, and then
it looks terrible.
And then he goes off, he hits her or whatever. He goes on the ceiling, he comes down, he starts choking one of the girls, and then Dakota Johnson as Madam Web starts using a knife, and then he uses a knife to stab her, and then it reverts back. Now this part of the trailer. Right here. This was probably the best part.
Yeah, the intro.
I was like,
my interest.
It did. I was like, okay, the Spider-Man suit doesn't look fantastic, but I can get over that. It doesn't look bad. It's interesting. She's going back. Okay, she's Madam Web. She's seeing into the future. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No issues whatsoever yet. I was like, okay, totally cool with that. And then we get dialogue.
The dialogue was top tier.
We get dialogue, the best dialogue I've ever heard in my life. And
it feels like it was written by like George Lucas, like when he was high.
When he was high.
He's bad enough already, but you're just giving this man like free roam.
So we get the dialogue. She is a paramedic working in New York City. Naturally, of course, it's New York City. And she's helping saving people. And then she's showing a narration, trying to save people who are running out of it.
Yeah.
Yada, yada, yada. and she falls down into the car. And then it shows a clip. She shows it looks like she's in a cave or something.
Okay.
And we see a baby, which I'm assuming is baby Peter Parker. I'm assuming that's still a thing, a part of this movie. I'm assuming it's baby Peter Parker, and I'm assuming that Emma Roberts is gonna be his mom.
Okay.
Which I'm always like, Emma Roberts, you shouldn't have signed on to this movie. I'm sorry.
I know.
I love Emma Roberts. So I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And then she's touched this. We see this whole clairvoyant looking thing. This dude's like, welcome back to the land of the living, and it's showing all this stuff. And then she's like, I don't understand what's happening. And I'm just like,
I honestly was expecting Morbius to show up.
I know, just Morbin time.
Anytime I see like a cave or something dark, I imagine him coming out.
The end credit scene from Adam Webb, it's going to be Morbius, right?
Okay.
And then showing up with Vulture, right?
Ooh,
and then showing up with Craven, right?
Okay.
And they're going to look at Adam Webb and they're go, listen, I think your set of skills will be helpful to our fight against Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Because we're pretty sure it has something to do with Spider-Man. And we're trying to start a team.
And then it zooms in on her face, right?
Yes.
Cut to black. That deserves something right there.
Great.
That
deserves
a brilliant scene.
A something. That deserves
It needs something.
Something. That deserves that. I agree. And then we get into the rest of the trailer. She's saving lives or not saving lives because she's seeing the future of people dying in her eyes. She doesn't know what's going on. And then we get this really weird train scene where this guy's like, New York, it's a whole new level of crazy these days. And this girl just staring at her. And then she's like, yeah. And this guy just walking in like he's a boss or whatever and picking up these girls and choking them and slamming them down. Like he's literally doing the WWE Big Show, like choke slam.
Takes a lot of strength to do with one hand, like Darth Vader like type mess.
It's a whole kind of thing. People are screaming. But then she goes back in time again, which, I mean, it's an interesting concept the whole time and going back and forth. And I realize I'm explaining this trailer better sounding than it actually is.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't know some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you're opening my eyes here,
I'm opening your eyes to the realization of what's going on. So she gets them off the train, and this, I think, is where the trailer spirals, right? Okay. It's horrible. Like, he's in the Spider-Man suit, he's fighting off all these guys. But then she takes these girls out into the woods, and she's like, hey, I can see the future. Okay. And then she throws something at her, and it's like, I didn't see that coming, and then she's like, what the heck? And
she's like, it's not how it works.
It's not how it works. And that acting, I'm sorry, Dakota Johnson, like, that was bad acting. I'm sorry. It was not good. And they were like, yeah. And then this part just got me. This was so stupid. I've seen this man before. His name is Ezekiel Sims. He was in the Amazon with my mom when she was researching spiders right before she died.
Yeah, the dialogue that deserves something.
That deserves something.
That reminded me of Morbius too, like the whole Amazon researching a specific animal, and they come.
At least that was interesting.
I was like,
why would you include that piece of that? Ezekiel Sims, he was working with my mother in the Amazon right before she died. What?
That seems like an SNL skit.
That does. Like, it seems fan made.
In a skit where like they're trying to figure out like who the villain is. Yeah. But they're oblivious, even though they have all the clues.
I saw so many comparisons. They're like, this looks worse than Spider-Man Lotus, a fan made Spider-Man film that got like a 1 on IMDb.
Yeah.
Like, this looks worse than that. And I'm like, wow, this is a studio production film. That's saying a lot.
With hundreds of millions of dollars.
With a lot of A grade, B grade actors.
Yeah.
And then she goes, you were living in my building, and it flashbacks. You're the paramedic. Oh. You almost ran me over. Like, what?
It's all connected.
Don't you think it's weird? It's all connected.
Don't you think this is kind of like a web?
Did you say it's like a web? Oh my gosh! And then she's like, "This is not the weirdest thing I've seen all day."
That's so funny.
Bad dialogue, bad acting here. The driving an ambulance, whatever. And it's the what do you want from me? And then we get her web is coming. It's her web's coming.
Yeah.
You have no idea what those girls become. And then it shows them as Spider Women. I'm not going to lie, their costumes don't look bad.
How do they become Spider Women?
We don't know. They're Spider Women, apparently.
Like, Madam Web just like, get web!
Yeah,
and then boom!
Get the powers. And then just whoosh, and then
they have powers.
They have powers. Yeah, that's how it's and the web
it's gonna be
connects them all.
so dumb how they explain it. I'm calling it now.
And then she's like, I think he can see the future too. Okay. What? And then showing that, trying to capture. I don't even know what's going on.
So how do you fight someone who knows the future when you know the future? Wouldn't you both be seeing the same future?
I don't have to come up with a different future.
I understand that.
And then she holds up and she stops a thing coming in with her arm, and I'm like, is that Madam Web's powers?
I don't know.
Of. She is the future is almost so different, but we can change it if you want to live, trust me,
Mm.
you know. And then Spider-Man hopping around. I'm not gonna lie, the Spider-Man hopping around doesn't look bad.
Yeah.
Then we go in their eye, and she can see the web of the future, and then he's landing, and then they do something to like blast him off the roof or whatever. Which they use like the clear things whenever somebody's going to cardiac arrest. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't think that would explode a
Yeah, a person in the air.
No, I don't think that would happen. But maybe I'm
It's
just
just supposed
misinterpreting
to
the trailer.
start your heart.
And then she's like, "You're showing off," and she's like, "Maybe a little." And then it goes, "Madam Web, it's webbing time coming soon." And I actually let's take a moment because
It's
I
webbing
want to
time.
take the time to read some of the comments because I just got to.
Yeah, no, that's also the best part about
I'm
that
going to
page.
read some of the comments on
Yeah.
this Madam Web trailer. Here's the first one from shout out at Normie. I love the part where she said it's bombing time and bombed at the box office. The next one is at Dr. Bag PhD. The part after the credits where Morbius appears and goes, "I think you know what time it is," really was one of the post credit scenes of all time.
Dude, the sad part is if we saw that and that actually happened, we would be most hyped about that part.
Dude, yes, we would.
We would
be.
yes.
That's so true. All right, at Awkward Edit X, I love the part where Madam Web says, "None of you seem to understand. I'm not webbed in here with you. You're webbed in here with me." And then webs all over them. Sent chills down my spine.
You're webbed in here. That's good.
At RevDev5511, I love the part where she says, "I could have done more. I could have saved more. Truly a movie." All right, one more.
It is a movie of all time.
It is a movie of all time.
Yeah, I love
At
that.
Varkev Vivian, I love the part where the diner waitress is taking their order and Madam Web gets the all-day breakfast platter, but just as the waitress starts to walk away, she changes her choice of meat from sausage to bacon and asks for it to be made extra crispy. Stunningly delivered dialogue and insane plot twists.
Yeah, I wonder what the
Philosophical.
implications of that are. You know,
I'm so
like what's the
truce.
symbolism behind the bacon?
I don't know. Actually, I'm gonna do one more. At Kirby, Kirby of 590 stars, the part where they said, "Why are we here? Just to suffer?" made me so emotional and cry. Truly, the movie scene of all time.
The movie scene.
I and these are like the top comments.
Yeah.
So
I'm crying.
so with this trailer being said, this is truly a trailer, and it's truly a
Yeah.
movie coming out soon.
One of the movies of all time.
One of the movies of all time. That's coming with some of the best nothing of all time.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, this is a movie, so we'll see what happens. 1 out of 10 is my
goodness.
prediction. Again, I think I made the movie sound more interesting by the way I was talking.
Yeah,
but
no,
I didn't
I'm
mean
honestly,
to.
like, I'm interested now.
I didn't mean
just
to do
by hearing
that, but
Michael's like doing promotion.
I'm
now
like,
for the movie.
whoopsie. Didn't mean to do that, Madam Web.
Yeah.
But I'll leave you with this. Certainly, it, at some point, will be webbing time in this particular webbing movie.
Yeah, honestly, I just gotta finish it up because I just thought about this right now. But I think this movie would be 100 times better if it was just an indie movie. There's no powers, no Sony, and it was just a paramedic who could see into the future
Honestly,
and was deciding
Probably
like
would be.
which people to save and which people to not save. That'd be like you said, it's an interesting concept.
it's an interesting concept, but they
But
obviously
then they're like,
don't know how to do an interesting
Ezekiel
concept.
Sims went to study bats with the
Bats,
with the
spiders,
doctor. His
in the
name
Amazon.
was Michael. While she was there, come on, now.
yeah.
We're not dumb.
We're
Don't
not dumb.
ever like explain it
Yeah,
out to
so
us like that.
shout out to those who commented.
Yeah,
shout out
thank
to
you. You
thank
made my day, honestly.
You made the day.
I had a good laugh.
And it's certainly I love the ones like
and
you said.
YouTube bring back the dislikes. So
It's
we can-
I know I'd love to see the
yeah,
number.
there'd be like 1 million. I think.
Oh, I think it'd be high.
Yeah.
But it's certainly a movie coming out, and we're
Certainly
certainly. I was gonna say looking forward to it, but we're
Yeah.
certainly gonna review it.
we will.
We will.
We'll tell you what you think
We'll
about
tell
it.
We'll tell you.
With-
That's. I'll leave it at that.
All right, guys. If you enjoyed this episode, let us know by giving us a review and a download. Our podcast, Here's in the Moment, is available on all major podcast platforms, so check it out. If you want to stay updated on all of our episodes, news, announcements, check out our Instagram at Here's in the Moment.
And we just want to thank y'all for listening, and we love you 3000.